Canto, Chapter 16, titled King Chitraketu Meets the Lord. Text number 29. Tata Katipa Yahobir, Tata Katipa Yahobir, Vidya Vedda Manogati, Vidya Vedda Manogati, Jagama Deva Devasya, Jagama Deva Devasya, Sheshasya Charanantikam, Sheshasya Charanantikam, Tata Katipa Yahobir, Tata Katipa Yahobir, Vidya Vedda Manogati, Vidya Vedda Manogati, Jagama Deva Devasya, Jagama Deva Devasya, Sheshasya Charanantikam, Sheshasya Charanantikam, Jagama Deva Devasya, Tata Katipa Yahobir, Vidya Vedda Manogati, Jagama Deva Devasya, Sheshasya Charanantika. Matajis. Tata Katipa We'll see word for word meaning. Tata, thereafter, Katipaya Ahobi, within a few days, Vidyaya, by the spiritual mantra. Ida Mana Gati, the course of his mind being enlightened. Jagama, went. Deva Devasya, of the master of all other lords or demigods. Sheshasya, Lord Shesha. Sharanantikam, to the shelter of the lotus feet. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, within a few days, by the influence of the mantra that Chitraketu had practiced, his mind became increasingly enlightened in spiritual progress, and he attained shelter at the lotus feet of Anantadeva. We'll repeat the translation. Thereafter, within a few days, by the influence of the mantra that Chitraketu had practiced, his mind became increasingly enlightened in spiritual progress, and he attained shelter at the lotus feet of Anantadeva. Purport. Yeah, all of you listen carefully. I'm going to ask questions. Yes? No talking in between. You have to be very attentive when you listen to the purport. Yeah? Because Srila Prabhupada written the purport. So we have to understand what he says. A devotee's ultimate achievement is to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in any one of the planets in the spiritual sky. As a result of rigid execution of devotional service, a devotee receives all material opulences if these are required. Otherwise, a devotee is not interested in material opulences, nor does the Supreme Lord award him. When a devotee is actually engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, is apparently material opulences are not material. They are spiritual. For example, if a devotee spends money to construct this beautiful and costly temple, the construction is not material, but spiritual. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. A devotee's mind is never diverted to the material side of the temple. The bricks, the stone, the wood used in the construction of the temple are spiritual. Just as the deity, although made of stone, is not stone, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. The more one advances in spiritual consciousness, the more he can understand the elements of devotional service. Nothing in devotional service is material. Everything is spiritual. Consequently, a devotee is awarded so-called material opulence for spiritual advancement. The opulence is an aid to help the devotee advance towards spiritual kingdom. Thus, Maharaja Chitraketu remained in material opulence as a Vidyadharapati, master of the Vidyadharas. And by executing devotional service, he became perfect within a few days and returned home back to Godhead. Taking shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Shesha, Ananta, a karmi's material opulence and a devotee's material opulence are not on the same level. Sri Madhavacharya comments in this way: Anyantaramiyam anantaramiyami inam Vishnum upasyantya samibaha bhaved yogyatya tasya padamva prapnuyam naraha. By worshipping Lord Vishnu, one can get whatever he desires, but a pure devotee never asks Lord Vishnu for any material profit. Instead, he serves Lord Vishnu without material desires, and is therefore ultimately transferred to the spiritual kingdom. In this regard, Sri Veera Raghava Acharya comment, Yatasta Gatir iti artaha. By worshipping Vishnu, a devotee can get whatever he likes. Maharaj Chitraketu wanted only to return home, back to Godhead, and therefore he achieved success in that way. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruvenam Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Sapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Dadati Swa Padantikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Looks like I have to borrow some of your notes. All are having big notes for reference. Hare Krishna. So we will put the things in the perspective, in context. Chitraketu Maharaj was given after he realized the truth of life. All the speakers would have been telling. After he realized the truth of life, what did he realize? Truth of life. What was the truth? Through his son, what did he realize? That everything is temporary. Everyone is changing bodies. It's all temporary. There's no permanency in this material world. He realized that. And therefore, he was able to listen to Narada Muni and Angeri Muni for the instructions, spiritual instructions. So Narada Muni gave this Mahavidya from verse number 18 to 25. We are on 29. Okay? So 18 to 25, Narada Muni gave this Mahavidya, which is like a mantra or a prayer to Lord Sankarshana. Or you can say Lord Sankarshana prayer. Mantra. So he gave and he said, you can perform this mantra, you can do this mantra. And then Narada Muni left for Brahmaloka. In 26 to... So 25, he left. Then 26, he instructed the prayer and Narada Muni left. 27, what happened was fasting and drinking only water. Chitraketu for 1 week continuously chanted with great care and attention the mantra given by Narada Muni. With great care and attention for 1 week he chanted continuously this mantra. And then what happened? After a week of repeatedly practicing the mantra, received from the spiritual master, Chitraketu achieved the rule of the planet of Vidyadhara as an intermediate product of his spiritual advancements in knowledge. And here, within a few days, by the influence of the mantra, Chitraketu has attained the shelter of the lotus feet of Anantadev, which means he was able to see Lord Anantashesh face to face. He saw the Lord. Then what did he do? For the rest of the chapter, he offered prayers to Lord Anantashesh. All the great acharyas and devotees do that. When they see the Lord, they can't help themselves. Immediately they offer their obeisances and they start offering, prayers to the Lord. That's what they do. We see in the story of Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. Here also. So after seeing Lord Sankarshan, Chitraketu Maharaj was offering prayers for the rest of the chapter. Then what happened? Lord Sankarshan left. Then as it is said here, in the verse, it is said that generally for a devotee, as Srila Prabhupada explains in this purport, that there are two results given for devotional service. The Lord awards two results for practicing devotion service. One is a primary result, and other one is a secondary result. The secondary result, what Chitraketu Maharaj got, was explained in verse number 28. What is that? He became the king of Vidyadharas. There is a demigod planet, Vidyadhara, where they only chant and dance all the time, only kirtan, no classes. Yeah? In that planet, he was a king, because already Chitraketu Maharaj was a king. So perhaps his desire, there was a slight tinge of material opulence for him, and therefore the Lord satisfied by giving him. Now, what is the primary result of devotional service? The primary result is he got the shelter at the lotus feet of Ananta Dev. That's the primary. And Srila Prabhupada also goes in explaining that yes, it depends on the devotee. If the devotee has got an inner desire that yes, I want some material opulence, yes, the Lord will give as a secondary benefit. But the primary is the Lord gives shelter at his lotus feet. That is the primary benefit, or the primary result of praying to the Lord. Yeah. Then what happened? After becoming the king of Vidyadhara, he was slightly proud, because he thought that, yes, I saw Lord Sankarshan in 7 days and I got a favor. I had a talk with the Lord face to face, and there was a slight tinge of proud, because I got Lord Sankarshan's favor. And because of that, what happened was, it goes on with the next chapter, that as he was traveling one day, he saw Lord Vishnu and Parvati, and then he commented something. He should not have. So basically he criticized, a great person like Lord Shiva, what is he doing in public? Sitting with his wife and all that. Some comment. You can see that later. He has criticized Lord Shiva. So what it is said is, eventually, then what happened? Okay, after the continuing story, he was cursed by Mother Parvati to become a demon. He became a demon Vitrasura. And then in the battlefield, he exhibited his quality as a pure devotee. Then he went back to Godhead. Ultimately, he went back to Godhead. So, for a person who wants to go back to Godhead, how many people want to go back to Godhead? I also. But it's up to the Lord. Okay? Now, if you want to go back to Godhead, 2 things you have to avoid. What are the 2 things? Yeah. 1, you should not criticize devotees. And 2, you should avoid associating with the materialistic people, non-devotees. 2 things. Now, Bhagavatam, we are in the, which canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam we are? Don't look at the board.
6.
Very good. You are following Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, huh? 6th canto, you sure? So we are in the 6th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Now, both these morals have been addressed in the 6th canto. What is this? 1, we should not criticize a devotee. And if you criticize, there will be eminent fall down. And this is illustrated in the story of Maharaj Chitraketu, where he insulted Lord Shiva. And therefore, what happened? From that position of Vidyadhara, always chanting, he became a demon. So, it's a very amazing story of Chitraketu, where a devotee becomes a demon becomes a pure devotee, and a pure devotee goes back to Godhead. Okay? So, that is covered in the Chitraketu. Now, association, bad association. The very first chapter of 6th canto, Ajamila case. Ajamila was a Brahmana by birth. But because of his bad association, he became a thief, plunderer, creating lots of sins. And therefore, the story goes on that. Of course, he chanted the Lord's name. Okay? So 2 things is already explained in the 6th canto. These 2 things we should avoid. Going back to God. Here, okay. So, as devotees of ISKCON, we follow Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya, Sampradaya. Correct? In which we pray to Radha and Krishna. Our Ishta Devatas, yeah? Braja, Radha and Krishna. There are many such devotees who may pray to different lords. For example, someone may pray to Lord Krishna as an opulent person, as an opulent king. And then they may end up going to Dwaraka. Someone may pray to Lord Rama and they go to Ayodhya. And someone may pray Lord Narayana and they go to Vaikuntha Loka. So they're all lots of spiritual planets, as Srila Prabhupada says. The very first statement of the purport. What did he say? 29. A devotee's ultimate achievement is to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in any of the planets in the spiritual sky. So all are valid. It's not that, only this sampradaya is good, that sampradaya is not good. Yeah? As long as you end up in a spiritual sky, it's good. But we want to worship Radha and Krishna. Because it is Krishna is the only Lord, you can say, where he dominates or he gives more respect for the devotees. Yeah? He basically, the devotees dominate in the Leelas of Krishna. This is a very salient feature, very difficult to understand. Yeah? In the pastimes of Krishna, the devotees dominate the show, not Krishna. So therefore you can see how much the Lord as Bhakta Vatsala is so much attached to his devotees. So this peculiar or a unique property or the unique very feature of the Lord is so amazing actually. So that is why we want to stick on to the worship of Radha and Krishna. But nevertheless, Srila Prabhupada says, anyone can end up in any different planets of the spiritual sky. That's not a problem. So that's the point Srila Prabhupada is saying. Just to give an example of how different great devotees in Chaitanya Leela, they worship different forms, not Radha and Krishna, but ended up going back, even during the time of Lord Chaitanya. So, during the Chaitanya Leela pastimes, you know the story of Murari Gupta. Okay? Now what happened? He's a close associate of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya, how sometimes he likes to be very, very close with his devotees. And so, once he called Murari Chaitanya and he told, Murari, you know that Radha Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I know that you are praying to Lord Ramachandra. Why can't you simply pray to Lord Krishna? Why can't you do that? But Murari Gupta, he thought that's an instruction from the Lord. Because when the Lord says, when a guru says, you respect. So he was in the heart, he said, okay. Then he went home. Throughout the night, he could not sleep. He was thinking, how can I forget the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra? I cannot do that. But on the same time, it's the order of Mahaprabhu that I should worship. Because he said, Murari, why can't you chant? Why can't you become a devotee and take shelter of Krishna? Lotus feet of Krishna. So he was constantly meditating. He was in a dilemma. He did not know what to do. Oh, I'm stuck. Throughout the night, he did not sleep. He was so disturbed. The next day morning, he simply went and fell at the feet of Lord Chaitanya. He said, oh Lord, I cannot forget Lord Ramachandra. But you have ordered me to worship Lord Krishna. How can I do that? Then Lord Chaitanya said, don't worry. You are a devotee who is firmly fixed. So all of us should have a Ishta Devata, which is God. And we should cling on to that Lord at any cost. All of us, whoever the Lord may be. That's what we learn. And Lord Chaitanya said, don't worry. You are already an eternal devotee of Lord Ramachandra. You are Hanuman. So how can you forget? I just want to test you. You cannot go. Similarly, we see again Lord Ramachandra in the story of Chaitanya Lila to Anupama, the younger brother of Rupa and Sanatana. Lord Chaitanya did the same thing. He said, Anupama, you have to now worship, or Vallabha they call, okay? You have to worship Lord Krishna now. Then he said, no, I can't do it, Lord, like that. So, through this we understand that, yes, all of us, whatever Ishta Devata we have got, we can pray. Vishnu Tattva. And accordingly, the Lord will reciprocate. Because here, what happened was, Narada Muni as a spiritual master, when he initiated, he understood the mood of Chitraketu. And therefore, he gave this mantra, Sankarshan mantra to him. And he was able to see his Ishta Devata within 7 days. The Lord he worshipped, the Lord in the heart. And therefore, he was able to see the Lord. And then, eventually, he went back to God. Yeah? Okay. Now, in this pastime of Chitraketu, we see in the earlier verses how Chitraketu Maharaj was so much attached to the sun. Okay, he wanted a son. Okay, when he could not get the son, he was so much under lamentation. Oh, I did not get a son, I did not get a son. Then Narada Muni, Angari Muni came and blessed him. He got a son. And the son gave, and he said, come on. When he died also, because he was poisoned. And then again, by the mystic potency of Narada Muni, the soul re-entered the body of the dead son. And the son started speaking. Which father and mother are you? I've got so many fathers. I've got cats, father and mother, dog, father and mother. Which mother are you? I can't understand you. And he also gave different examples we discussed last week. That about how rivers came together, will bring everything, and then it will go away. All will come only for a temporary period of time. And then he said gold and other commodities, pet animals, someone buys, someone sells. The dogs or the pet animal is there only for a short period of time. And then some other owner buys it off. He becomes, the pet animal for a different owner. Like that it goes on. That is the very nature of the material world. The nature of the material world is constantly changing. The weather is changing. The climate is changing. The day is changing. Body is changing. Buildings are changing. Everything is changing. That is the nature of the material world. Constant change. But what is that which doesn't change? What is that? The soul. Krishna explains, 2nd chapter, that it's the spirit soul which never changes. It's constant. So, this kind of bodily attachment was there for Chitraketu Maharaj. Like all of us, we have also got attachments, okay? Different attachments, yeah? Maybe body, maybe money, maybe job, we don't know. So many attachments are there. But by getting instructions from the spiritual master, Chitraketu Maharaj was able to cut with the sword of knowledge, he was able to cut the detachment. That is a beauty. So this spiritual knowledge is not an ordinary thing. Very, very powerful. It acts as a tool. If there is any attachment, you can simply cut that attachment. Not that we are saying you should cut the attachment. I'm just saying it can be used as a tool. Because these attachments, material attachments, they are a biggest impediment on the path of spiritual life. We are going to discuss that very shortly. Yeah? What is the impediment? It's an impediment actually. See, love is good, but attachment is not good. Because attachment, what happens? Later it turns into anger. Very good. Anger, right? You said? Very good. That's right. Any attachment, okay? Soon it changes to anger. Because I'm attached to you. You're not doing what I'm trying to say. You're not listening to me. Anger. Yes? It happens. it turns into attachment, mode of passion. So therefore, it's so important for us to get the spiritual knowledge and cut our attachment, basic attachments, whatever it is. And by saying so, what we mean is, a devotee of Krishna, when we say attachment means, we don't focus on attachment, yeah? We don't think, oh, I'm attached to my family, I'm attached to my job, I'm attached. No. Our detachment is our attachment to Krishna. Yeah? We don't normally, ours is not a negative process. It's a positive process. Yeah? By getting attached to Krishna, detachment already happens. This is our process. So our detachment is our attachment to Krishna. We don't, artificially, oh, I'm too much attached to my children, I will be away. I'm too much attached to my house, so I'll be all the time away from my home. Yeah? I'm attached to my car, and therefore I'll ride only cycle. That's not the problem. The problem is attachment to Krishna. Detachment already happens. Okay? All right. Then, spiritual knowledge. Yeah? So, with the spiritual knowledge which Chitraketu Maharaj got from Narada Muni, he got that weapon, the tool, and through that he was able to attach, in his case. So, the instruction of spiritual master is so important. Yeah? The instruction. By following the instructions, we will get transcendental knowledge. Okay? Now, we are quickly going to go into Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 4.34. What is it? Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprakshena sevaya upadenta jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. 3 things have been told in that verse. First, one must approach a spiritual master. We will come back to us why we should approach a spiritual master. Okay? We'll discuss this verse and then we'll see why we need a spiritual master. Okay? Because that's what it is. Because of the spiritual master, he had a darshan of Sankarshan. So let us discuss that later. So in that 4.34, 3 aspects are mentioned. What is that? One must approach a bona fide spiritual master. 1. 2. One must submissively inquire, not with pride and arrogance, but with humility. You should inquire and you should do service to him. We must serve your spiritual master. Now by doing that, what happens? As a reciprocation, the spiritual master gives you transcendental knowledge. Now this transcendental knowledge is very important. Why transcendental knowledge is important, Prabhu? Anyone? Transcendental knowledge is important. Spiritual knowledge is important. Why it is important? Transcendental knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is important. Yes. Good. Transcend the modes of nature. Yes. Good. To know Krishna more. Good. Because Krishna is fully transcendental. That's what Srila Prabhupada says, right? In the purport. Krishna is not material. Krishna is 100% transcendental. Not even 0.0001% of materialism in Krishna. Completely. Anything you do, you talk about Krishna, you eat Krishna Prashadam, associate with devotees, and read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, serves Krishna. Everything is spiritual. Including this table. This is also spiritual. As Srila Prabhupada says. Yeah? Everything. 100% spiritual. Krishna. Therefore, it's important. Transcendental knowledge. But in reality, let us break it down. What happens is, when I come, okay, I don't realize, okay, I'm talking for myself. I don't realize, yes, I'm a spirit soul. I'm entering into the temple. I'm a spirit soul. I'm coming. I'm a spirit soul offering obeisances to Gaur-Nitai, Radha Ballabha, okay? I'm a spirit soul. I'm taking my prashadam, yeah? I'm a spirit soul now. I'm talking to you. No. Because I'm seeing through my eyes. I'm talking through my mouth. I'm hearing. Everything I'm depending on my body. Although I'm doing devotion service, but I'm depending on my body. Correct? I have to wear my jumper. Otherwise, I'll be speaking Bhagavatam like this. I'll be shivering. I have to wear my socks because it has to be warm. So, all the faculty we are using in devotional service is gross body and subtle body. Yes? Isn't it? Gross body is mind, intelligence, false ego. Subtle body is all our body. Hands, legs, working senses, knowledge of occurring senses, everything. Hands, doing the arati with the hands. I'm not thinking I'm doing. I'm a spirit soul. I'm part and parcel of Krishna. Like that, yes? I'm doing arati, we have to do 4, 2, 3, 7. That's my concentration. So, transcendental knowledge is important because it is that one faculty that is able to discriminate. Mind works on instinct. Okay? There is only one faculty which works on discrimination. What is that faculty in us? Intelligence. So intelligence is a one that can discriminate between good and bad, matter and spirit. Therefore, all the time, okay, say for example, I live in a forest and all this, I'm not wearing, jumper, all this, but still, it's difficult because at least 1 minute I'll be thinking I'm the body. It's not easy because we are embodied. Krishna says we are embodied. The body and the soul, although they are made up of two different energies of the Lord. Everything is energy of the Lord. Through the soul is made up of the Lord's spiritual energy. The body is made up of the Lord's material energy. Although they are different, somehow they are amalgamated in the material world due to the long association. We are like, we are tied together, body and soul like this. Very difficult to understand. It's not easy. We can talk. Practically I'm talking, yeah? Practically. So, all the time, we cannot think, I'm a spirit soul, I'm like this, I'm a spirit soul, I'm spirit soul. When we're chanting, I'm a spirit soul, chant nicely. To some degree, the mind will say, come on, I don't care about you. So, this one faculty, intelligence, is the one that can discriminate between matter and spirit. And if the intelligence is spiritual, it's very easy to control all the other material senses. Krishna explains that in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Always the spiritual intelligence should be on the top. Then what happens? You can control the mind, intelligence, sense object. All that easier. So therefore, spiritual intelligence is very, very important. And it has to be received from a spiritual knowledge. Where do you get Aigriva? Yes. Spiritual intelligence has to be got from the basic thing. Spiritual master. That is why if you see, it may look simple for us, but look at all the stories. Yeah? Everyone received spiritual knowledge and therefore they realized. Prahlad Maharaj, he received from Narada Muni. He was able to have the darshan of Lord Vishnu, straight, face to face. Sankarshan here. Chitraketu Maharaj was able to say Lord Sankarshan face to face. See? Who is that? Prachetas. He got instruction from Lord Shiva. They meditated. And Lord Vishnu, for the Prachetas, he came inside water. He said, don't worry, I will come into water. You don't come out. Because the Prachetas were inside the water. See, the Lord can do anything. And it is a spiritual master who gives you the instruction. And through that instruction mantra, you can see the Lord face to face. Yeah? So now, instructions. We got transcendental knowledge, and the spiritual master, through serving, we get transcendental knowledge. Why do we need a spiritual master? Of course, to get a transcendental knowledge. Yeah? And what else? Is it only to get transcendental knowledge? Service? guide our way. Tatvidi Pranipranisi, that also says guide our way also, because he has known the path. That's what we are going to discuss now. Path. See, what happens? We are spirit soul, as Mataji said, okay? But have we realized that? See, through the spiritual knowledge, you know you're a spirit soul. But have you, I can't speak for yourself, I can speak for, have I realized that I'm a spirit soul? What's the answer? No. I completely realize I'm a spirit soul. The answer is obviously no. Yeah? So, what happens is, as I am not saying we are not spirit soul. We are spirit soul. But have we realized that we are spirit soul? That's the question. Yes. When you walk into the Swanson Street today at 12 o'clock, do you realize you are a spirit soul? I'm a spirit soul walking into the Swanson Street. Do you realize? She probably, Mataji. Yeah. So, I'm just saying generally, it's not possible generally. Maybe, see, when you are in the association of devotees, yes, because it transcends, as Mataji said. Any job, any service for Krishna, right, one transcends the three modes, straight away. No doubt about it. The moment you come here, you see Krishna, you are in the transcendental mode now. You are not in the material mode. You are not in the mode of ignorance, passion or goodness. You are in the transcendental mode. But what if you go outside? Three modes are waiting. There's a competition between the three modes. The mode of goodness says, I will dominate for some time. Immediately the mode of passion says, I will take over you. The mode of ignorance says, what do you think I am? Do you think I'll keep quiet? I will be the top of both of you. Then mode of ignorance will come. Then you say, we are spirit soul, is it? See, influence. So that's why influence of three modes is very difficult. So what I am trying to say is, although on the knowledge platform, we know that we are spirit soul, but yet we have not realized that we are spirit soul. It's a gradual process. It's a gradual process. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a gradual process. So what happens is, we are spirit soul, but we have not realized. And it's difficult to realize. There is a path to follow. Yeah? Most of the people, they do not even know that they are spirit soul. But we know spirit soul because we follow the scriptures. Krishna says in the chapter 2, yes, the spirit soul, it cannot be cut into pieces. It doesn't, whatever properties, logics you apply to the body is not applicable to the soul. You cannot burn it. You cannot wet it. It doesn't die. Yeah? All these logics you can apply to the body, but you cannot apply to the soul. So Krishna is explaining that in chapter 2. So what happens is, I'm saying the need of the spiritual master. I'm trying to explain the requirement of a spiritual master. So what happens is, although we are spirit soul, we have not realized. Okay? And therefore, for the conditioned living entity like us, there are two paths. Okay? Two paths are there. What are the two paths? One is outward journey, and the next one is the inward journey. Okay? Most of the people want to do the outward journey. What is the outward journey? I can't hear. No, not the heart path. Not even taking to Krishna consciousness. That is outer path. There is two parts, okay, for the soul. The soul can go outside, or the soul can go inside. So that is outer path, inner path. The outer path is the soul wants to enjoy the body. That is materialistic life. Okay? Now the inner path is the soul wants to proceed towards Krishna. Paramatma is there. That is the inner path. Now 99% of the people do not know inner path. Only the devotees of Krishna or Vaishnavas only know the inner path. It's a path. It is a way. Okay? Very, very confidential knowledge. That is why it is known as a confidential knowledge. Okay? Now what happens is, our heart, okay, it has been contaminated with the material energy or the material nature for a long time. So our heart, listening all of you, our heart is like a forest, very dark, and it's a forest. Now, no one wants to clear that. Right? No one wants to clear. Everyone wants outer path. That is, I want a body, I'll enjoy and all that. That's materialistic vibe. But the moment, every time you enjoy, there is an impression created on the mind and it covers the soul. Okay? And therefore, what has happened is, because of our previous births, we have covered the mind, and the mind is like a forest. Okay? Now it's very, very difficult to clear the forest because it's dark. There's no light. The inner path is dark and it's full of scrubs and dangerous animals. And also it has got 6 important thieves. What are they? Lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, attachment, illusion. There are thieves sitting there in the heart. Now, many people don't want to remove these thieves. They'll keep it in the heart. The heart is like a forest. It's dark. Okay, put some more, One thief will say, I am your friend. Come on, please come. One more lust, anger, lust thief. One more, 2 thieves are there. The 4th, come on. It's anyway a forest. So this is what is materialistic life. No one wants to clear. Now, if you want an inner path, as devotees, we should. Inner path to understand Krishna, which is very confidential. Then what happens is, you need someone to show the path, right? Because it's dark. Now, Krishna explains in 4.34 that the spiritual master is the one, he has seen the path, he's seen the truth. So he knows the path like a Melway, like a GPS. He will say, come with me. Left, right, roundabout, first exit. He will tell us like this. Spiritual master. Because he's seen the path. So, it's very, very important that a spiritual master is like a guide, like a leader. He keeps taking us into that forest. And also what happens? He gives us some tools to clear the forest. What is the tool he gives? Yes. He gives us the tool of chanting, cutting, Cheto Darpanam, Marjana. The tool of chanting. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then what happens? It clears. Then he also shows light. He gives path. And therefore we are able to go. And the moment we don't listen to the spiritual master and we don't follow, what will happen? The path will cover itself. That is why if you see, many people they take up. And then they don't follow into the path. And they don't follow. And then what happens? They will say it is too much, they'll go to the outer path, which is again back to square one. So it's very difficult. You follow the path, you clear it. As you go, there will be dirt. There will be darkness. You have to clear by chanting. Clear, clear, clear. And then you can see the Lord. So this is the inner path. This inner path, no one knows. Not many people knows. Only who is following spirituality, one who has taken spiritual life, okay? They know the inner path. And that's what Krishna is saying in 4.34. You must approach a spiritual master if you want to choose the inner path. Otherwise, don't come. There's no point in coming to Krishna, okay? If you want the inner path, take a spiritual master. What you should do? Submissively ask him questions. Get help from him. And how? You have to render service also. You have to render service and then ask questions. Not ask, just asking questions, not helping, rendering service to him. Then what happens? As a reciprocation, he gives transcendental knowledge. Now this transcendental knowledge, what does it do? Again, it has got 2 effects. It will make a person free from illusion. What is illusion, Fatehji? Yes, it puts you on the spiritual platform. Now it puts you on the spiritual platform. Not 24 hours a day. As long as you do, you will be there. The moment you forget Krishna, we come into the three modes. Yeah? Say 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm thinking of something, I've forgotten Krishna. Then I will be already in the mode of passion, ignorance. That's what I'm saying. It's not 24 hours you should think of Krishna. Then you are acting as a soul. Understand the point? So that is why 24 hours we should be thinking of Krishna. The moment you forget Krishna, the three modes will attack you. If you are in touch with Krishna, then you are in the transcendental mode. This is a logic. This is how the world works. Three modes of mental nature works. Yeah? And therefore what we should do, every hour, Raghunatha Goswami is saying, Manasa Shiksha. He's saying, so therefore what one should do, every hour you should try to come back to Krishna conscious. Just do something. 12 o'clock, okay. Again. At 1 o'clock, again reminding. Slowly, gradual process. So you have to constantly remind Krishna conscious. Then what happens? Yes, you are on the transcendental mode. So the three modes will not attack you. The moment you forget Krishna, then what happens? So the backside of Krishna is Maya. We have seen in the first canto. When Vyasadeva saw Krishna, he saw Krishna, beautiful Lord. And then behind them was Maya. Maya was saying, hello, come. But Maya is behind. Still, it's very powerful. So, where there is Krishna, there is no Maya. Where there is light, there is no darkness. Krishna, Surya Saman. Maya, Andhakar. Darkness. So when there is a light, when I come inside, say for example, we'll turn off all the lights. How it will be pitch dark, I don't know where my glass, I don't know where my cup, where my paper. I don't know because it's dark. But the moment you turn on light, how the darkness goes, how it goes. It goes. That is the power of light. When Krishna comes, how the illusion goes. It goes. If you can explain how darkness goes when light comes, in the same way it goes. Where Krishna is there is no darkness. So powerful. The names of Krishna, the holy name of Krishna, so powerful. Anything you do with Krishna, so powerful. Okay, then we'll stop with this point, finally. Okay, we did that. Now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about how temple is made up of brick, stone, everything spiritual. So now, for us, guys, 197 Dang Street. What is that? Very good. Now, temple, is it material or spiritual? Sure. But it is made up of wood. I don't see any spiritual. It's not talking to me. There's no consciousness. Oh, very good. Now, what about... sorry? If Lord Krishna is there, it will become spiritual, is it? Sure. Very good. Yes, it is, because Lord is completely spiritual. Now, one more question. What about 195 Dang Street? Is it material or spiritual? 199 Dang Street. Why? 197 is spiritual. Both are on either side. It should be also spiritual, no? Yes, exactly, spot on. Now, if Krishna is not there, then it becomes? If Krishna is there, it becomes? That is all it is. 197, Radha Ballabha is there, so it is? 195, Radha Ballabha is not there, so it is? That's all. Simple logic. This is what we have to understand. If Krishna is there, it's spiritual. If Krishna is not there, material. That's it. That is our takeaway home. There's nothing. You need not have to know big philosophies. Yes? Okay, that's one. And then finally, Srila Prabhupada says, the opulence offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not material. For the devotees, he gives opulence. It is not material. It is for Krishna's service. So, the materialistic people getting opulence is karma. Spiritual or a devotee getting money is spiritual. Got the point? Very important. Because the Lord is giving for the service. True. That's what we learn from that. Very good. See, Chitraketu Maharaj, but they keep it with, you can anyone ask. See, Chitraketu Maharaj and Lord Shiva, they're almost like God brothers, you can say. Because both were worshipping Lord Sankarshan. So it's like insulting a God brother, in one sense, okay? How could he should not have done. Lord Shiva is so great like that. Okay, anyway, answering your question, Mataji, there is a spiritual high level and a ordinary level answer. The high level is Krishna said, Bhagavad Gita, tolerate. Sometimes, it happens like that. What to do? I'm not saying, it's easier to talk than, to put in action. So sometimes it happens. Many times I've seen, where is my slipper? It's gone like that. Because, see, a devotee, when he comes to the temple, is keen to do service. And when he feels probably that his service is affected, the service to the Lord is affected because of this particular, he may get angry. So what it means is, in the service of Krishna, if some anger is there, that is okay. Because the Lord doesn't mind. For example, we can say, Arati, come on, 7 o'clock. Why you are not coming? We have to show some anger to the pujaris. Because sometimes, the pujaris, 3 pujaris have to come to do the altar. Then one pujari will be slowly walking. He said, come on. You have to, come, 7 o'clock like that. So for the service of Krishna, some anger is okay. Because higher cause, transcendental cause. But for my...
That's my question is, you get angry because it's nothing to do with seva, but because he has taken years.
The question is sometimes what Mataji is saying is, sometimes people may take one of your possessions, like jumper or something, whatever maybe, in this case, slipper or some umbrella or something, you keep it, they'll go and come and all that. So when, someone takes, by mistakenly, if you take the slipper or something, then the other person gets angry.
Like your shoes and his shoes are same.
Are you asking from the person who's taken the shoes?
No,
These points or the person who's...
your shoes and his shoes are same. And you took
By mistake I taken it, the person gets angry like that.
and he was looking for his shoes and he found your hair. Why is he taking his shoes? It's mine. Bring it. It's nothing to do with seva.
But correct. No, that's true. True. Matthew, you want to talk?
If it's between two people, you can answer from one of the point of view. But if it's third party perspective, we can't control that.
I'm seeing that you both are
So that's your perspective, we can't control that. What is your
I
perspective?
don't want to fault mine, but still mine is processing.
Well, you can ask the person what happened,
Uh,
what happened.
Please, you are angry, I can't have.
But in one sense we can say, anyway the possession belongs to the person, no? Isha Upanishad says that we should have a quota and we should not touch other person's quota. I mean, I'm not trying to be too technical. It says, you have got a quota, okay? Try to use your quota. Don't touch others' quota. It says like that. And so probably according to the Lord has given him that particular shoes or something, he has a quota. So he gets angry or something. But nevertheless, we should not trigger, It's okay, it happens. A little bit tolerate and go. Next time we know this person doesn't like his shoes, okay? So I'll not touch his shoes.
But she's saying from third person perspective, not two people involved in it.
Okay,
If it's two people involved perspective, it's a whole different
correct.
answer.
They have to sort.
They are fine because he's very humble, he's fine. And you are fine.
See, out of the two people, Mataji, only when two bamboos strike, there is a fire. Now, one person, if the one bamboo is away from the other bamboo, there's no fire, no. So therefore, Krishna explains that, in the second chapter, tolerate. Try sometimes, you just neglect and go away. What to do?
And says that anger can be used only if someone is blaspheming devotees of Krishna, otherwise you get angry.
See, anger is like a tool, It's like a knife. I don't take the knife and go around from the kitchen like that. I used to take the knife to cut the carrot or a cabbage, yeah? That's it. So it is for a particular use. Come on, guys. What is this time? 7 o'clock. Not ready for arati like that. So that's it. Over. Afterwards, if I say, it's a tool. You use only for a particular. See, it depends on as he said, perspective of the person. We cannot comment on the other person. But from our end, what we can do is we can just tolerate, just go. Because if he keeps on talking, it's a big affair, So better, Mataji, that's it, okay? Just tolerate and go. What can you do? So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Gantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nithai Gaura Premanandi. You got a question? Maybe later. You should ask within the time, Prabhu. No. Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
was really good.